Hey guys, quick clip silver and the dollar. So, I have a concern. This is the dollar index. It has been throwing it down for the last 3 days. This is a daily chart. This head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, broadening, spill down, visit the neckline with a gap, rally, visit the neckline, gap down, broadening, smash it down, flag-like behavior, spill through, more flag-like behavior, and chuck it down. This is what's going on. It's running it down to this primer HVF. This is also the target for your head and shoulders with the perfect midpoint, the axis of our HVF. That's taken from the logical round number of 99.70, which is the perfect neckline for this in our view. You might have used, if you wanted to, 99.50. It may have qualified as well, which would bring you down there. Instead, which might have given you a little push lower. Prefer a bit of conservatism, so I'm going to stay with a 70. But what that means is you might run down to these levels. So interesting. What else do you get? You get a bear flag sell-off from basically here. It's not perfect because you've had two zones of flagging, falling wedge down, flagging. But if you get that bear flag sell-off projected down, it might give you the 95 neckline move that you would have got roughly down there, which is both pointing, that would point to the beyond the primer funnel here, as you would have done on the 95. You would have got twice that space added on here, would have brought you about here. So if you took the 95 neckline. So the dollar is selling off, and it's selling off at a rapid rate, but at some point the dollar index may indeed rally. So the euro has been trading higher. The euro is a large part of the dollar index rival, the other part. You'll also have the franc for a bit of that, and to a lesser degree, but still significant degree, you have the pound, which is in the Western sort of GMT line space, although very much independent of its own. Carney called back future stimulus, and that led to the pound getting a rally, and we've had the euro be strong rate. So this is giving the dollar relief at the moment, which will probably also be giving dollar pegs a relief, such as the Chinese renminbi and the yuan. So this is bearish. During this period of bearishness, the anti-dollar, aka precious metals, and we're looking at silver, has been weak. We've just had a major sell-off in the dollar today. What has silver done? Sold off. Weak bounce, flat bottom pattern after a sell-off change in trend, after being very impulsive upside, down, weak grinding rally in a channel, sell-off, little bit higher, marginally higher high, weak, sell-off all the way, flat bottom, rising wedge, squeeze, sell-off, very flat bottomed again, down to this hammer low. Projection target 13.5s to be run if this triggers. What would happen if the dollar index reaches its point where it's finally done, sells off a little bit, that sees maybe the silver get a small bump back up and make a high maybe here. I'm assuming that's the high, but it could go up to say here or there, and then start to drift down as the dollar finally starts to get a bid again after dipping itself well through the 95 level. So if the dollar starts a rally after running all these targets and these funnels and then gets a bit of support, you could then have silver throw it down rather ungracefully. And there is a downside threat target of 13.5 here, potential. That doesn't mean it has to happen. We await a triggering event, which is a sell of that low. It could sell that low but not run the secondary low, in other words, make a lower third low and then rally a bit higher before breaking. It could do quite a few things, but this overall structure is not bullish. This is a continuation setup of a trend that is down as you see it, down as you see it. So this is my take in terms of this chart, weak for silver. What could you also do when you're looking at charts on the precious metals? Well, it's almost remiss to look solely at silver. It's not as bearishly set up, but is gold looking very healthy and strong? Let's have a look. Forex.com, we look at that, the CFD, this is a CFD, these are what are available currently on TradingView, not now, thank you please. So if we look at the daily, once again you can see this is not a particularly strong chart. It's had a rally, getting very complex, getting very rounded top, complexity and rounded top with sell-offs, higher high, fails to make a lower low. Double tops fails to make much of a higher high. If it does so by a couple of cents and then sells off again. So each time we've made a higher high quite strongly, higher high less strongly, higher high almost not entirely. Almost perfect double top. Low, are we finished going down low? This is looking very convex and rounded top, and silver is the worst of the two by some way. Just to give you a bit more of a view to scale it similarly to the gold view, you can see that 13.5 would be quite a fatal dip, and it could put a lot of people's views on ice for the bull that is meant to be, the re-emergent bull that is meant to be precious metals for 2017. So that was your low. That was 14. That would imply a new low for precious metals. That will drive the fundies of precious metals of ballistic. And it will be a shock, and it'll probably make news headlines. And the last bulls might capitulate, which will probably mean the perfect time for when you want to be in the final. But this is not a good setup technically for metals. I'm not saying this has to happen, by the way. This is a probability-based assessment, and it is a continuation chart. It may or may not happen. It will be certainly very cheap. It will be cheaper than it's been for many, many years. The last time it traded under that level, if I draw a line from there to there, you'll see that the last time we traded that low would be 09. Some time ago. Remember, we're 17 now. So that would be quite a nasty little bear sell-off. So we'll see if that materializes. I'm not sure it will. But it does have a probability of potentially materializing, and that would be the final bull trap that'll really hurt a number of people. Make a marginally lower low, that could be the final low then, and then you could base out, start having a more rounded bottom to get up. This might have been a slightly fake rounded bottom, a little bit too much enthusiasm on ongoing QE. We'll see. Just a warning, because this has all been occurring while the dollar index has been falling. Yes, the dollar index was at 103. It's 95, threatening a target down at the 94s. So that's some fall. Okay, with that, I love you and leave you. Hope you find the clip interesting. A little bit of a cautionary and warning on the dollar index, which if it stops falling, a little bit more to fall, but if it stops falling and starts to get a bid, and the pressure that it might bring to XAG and XAU. That's it. Francis signing off, over and out. Oh yeah, one final thing. If we want to talk about trading methodology, the mindset, and all the other aspects to pulling together your perfect trading strategy where markets, mindset, and methodology all meet, get in touch with me on Contact Us over here on the website. Have a chat to see if trading precious metals, FX, and even crypto is right for you, and you will have a time with myself and we'll assess what is of your interests and see if we can support you in determining whether it is the right thing for you to do. So speak to you all soon. Enjoy yourselves, and I will stop recording on this point and wish you all a good weekend.